Sound check. Check 1, check 2.
So I want to talk about recharging your passion for singing. There have been a number of things that I have learnt to do to recharge that battery, to recharge my passion. And I wanted to share 10 things with you that I think will be helpful. And I wanted to start off by talking about reflecting on your initial motivation. I think this is really important. What was it that caused you to start singing in the first place? The goal might simply be to explore the idea that, well, can I sing? Maybe you've spent decades of your childhood into your teenage years, into adulthood, perhaps being told that you couldn't, and now you want to explore whether you can. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. You can. Everyone can. And if you want to, you should. And if you're watching this channel, you will probably already know that. There's no right or wrong goals with singing. It really comes down to you and what you want to do. But reminding yourselves of these things can really be helpful in recharging your motivation, recharging your passion. And then it's helpful to reflect back on old goals. But sometimes you want to think about, well, what are perhaps some new goals that I can set? For example, perhaps you achieve the goal of singing live, singing a song. The important thing with your goals is you need them to be specific, achievable, and measurable. If you don't make your goal specific, then it's likely to not turn out very well. And these are going to be really positive in setting goals because they provide you with new challenge. And when you have new challenge, it can re-inspire, it can recharge, re-energize your passion. Here's one that I want to really encourage, and it is an opportunity to remind you about our community here at Voice Essentials. Join a community that is of like-minded people. You know, it gives you an opportunity to connect with other singers and musicians. We over the last number of years have built a wonderfully inclusive, encouraging, supportive environment for us to gather as like-minded people who are equally passionate about our singing, but also about encouraging one another with that singing. And when you're encouraged, when you receive that encouragement, it empowers your passion. I've just seen that word there, in the encouragement. You can't underestimate the impact of the encouragement of people from across the globe. And I think this is one of the wonderful things about online communities is you're going to come into contact with people, you know, like Kathy Snyder, who's a moderator on the Facebook group. She's in Canada. Linda's down in Tasmania. I'm in Brisbane. We've got people from you know, Mexico and Japan and Brazil and the USA and UK. There are people from all over the world who are going to engage with you. Number 4, this is a good one. Attend live performances. It can expose you to new styles, new techniques. That can be really exciting. Now, this one might come across as being, you think to yourself, why would Dr. Dan be encouraging me to go and have lessons with a different teacher? Because on the surface of it, that quite obviously means, you know, I'm suggesting you might need to go and have some input from someone other than myself. Remember, I just said, I'm an educator at heart. Ultimately, my main drive for you is that your voice develops. That is what I'm all about. And to achieve that, I want you to drink from as many fountains as you possibly can or need to. I've had a little saying in my teaching career, and that is every singing teacher has something to give you. Everyone. Some have more to give you than others, and that is true. But every singing teacher, I am not that singing teacher who says when you arrive in my studio to receive lessons, leave everything you've ever learnt at the door, forget everything, we're going to start from scratch. I think that's incredibly narcissistic. I think that every singer is the sum total of their journey. And if I'm privileged enough to come alongside a student, a person who is learning singing for a period of time and provide my input, my encouragement, my instruction into their journey, then that's a tremendously privileged position. And I to the best of my ability, try to apply that with humility and with grace. Because I don't know everything. I can't know everything, won't ever know everything. And so when we take, advice from multiple sources, quality sources, I'm not saying just take it from anyone, but when we take instruction from a variety of spaces, then we're able to bring that together to inform our voice and to re-inspire our passion for our singing, because I think that can be a really positive thing. And they often offer new perspectives, new fresh insights, not only into the world of voice, but into your world of voice, what your voice does. And every singing teacher has a unique style. I've got a unique style. Others teach differently to me. That doesn't make anyone better, right, wrong, worse. It's just different. Okay, participate in workshops or masterclasses. So you might be thinking, but I love my singing teacher. And if you're my student, I hope that is what you're saying. I don't want to leave Dr. Dan. And you don't have to. But workshops and masterclasses do give you exactly the same opportunity to go and engage with a different voice, a different instructor, someone saying probably the same thing, just a different way, for you to observe different approaches. And that can also inspire. There are groups like the Australian National Association for Teachers of Singing, ANATS. There is NATS in the US, there's the BVA. There are many groups who run really great workshops, and that could be a really wonderful experience for you to see other people working. And the other positive thing, and it creates an awesome opportunity for networking. And for you to connect with, again, other like-minded people who are uber passionate enough to take time out from their weekend often, maybe travel to a different city to go to these workshops, to go to these conferences and masterclasses. And that can be such a positive thing. You can hear, even as I'm talking about that, it's inspiring. It charges your passion for your singing. And at times when your voice and you are perhaps at a low ebb, where things are just like, I'm just not feeling it, then at times there's a need to be quite proactive around your development, around your passion. Because, look, here's the thing, no one's going to come along and recharge your passion for you. You are going to have to step up to the plate and activate these things that we're talking through. You're going to have to make decisions to book that masterclass or attend that concert. You might want to think about experimenting with other genres. Maybe you sing jazz. You might go, well, that's cool, but I'm a bit over jazz. I think I would prefer to sing. Can I experiment with country? Now that's going to require you to spend a bit of time listening to country if that's not something that you're used to, really getting into. there's a bit of work to be done here, isn't there? And so when you start to engage in different genres, that's not to say that that's going to be because you're now going to go and become a country singer. That little journey off into the world of country, do you know what it will do? It will backflow. It will inform your development of your jazz style, if that's what you continue to sing. Remind yourself of that feeling that comes with discovering something new, because as you might recall, that's pretty exciting. And this is all going to lay out really fresh vocal challenges for you, because there are going to be different skills that you need to develop in order to be in keeping with that different genre. Jazz is not country, is not rock, is not music theatre, is not pop. They can all be served with the same contemporary, style-appropriate technique that underpins them, but then the stylization, that the vocal effects, those things that are nuanced towards each genre, they're all very different, and you have to be really intentional about those, and it can be really fun to explore that. This is a hard one for many of you, and this is number 8. We've got 2 more to go after this. Just be mindful that when you do that there is a level of processing, digital processing, that your phone is designed to automatically do. You cannot turn this off. When you record your voice, there is a level of compression and limiting and normalization that goes on that does have an effect on not the quality of sound as far as good, bad, or ugly, but the quality of the tonal sound that is not a true representation of what you just did acoustically. That is not to say that you can't use it and you can't use it to your advantage. You certainly can. You can use it to track progress. You can use it to identify areas that you need to develop in. You can definitely use it to develop your pitch accuracy. Just be aware that if you're singing the latest, well, I mentioned her before, let's just say you're practicing the latest Taylor Swift song, and you record yourself doing that, it is never ever, if you record it onto your phone, it is never ever going to sound even remotely close to the quality of what you hear Taylor Swift's songs sound like, even when you play it through the speakers on your same phone. Because Taylor has been in a multi-million-dollar studio, and that's just the room, singing into equipment and into a signal chain that we can only imagine the type of things that have been done to that vocal line to make her sound that good. I'm not saying she doesn't sound amazing as she is, but even Taylor Swift ain't going to sound like Taylor Swift if she just sings into her mobile phone. But remember, by listening back to yourself for certain aspects and contextually measuring it, it can help to motivate you further, as you hear yourself developing. 2 more. The last one being, I want to give you permission. You don't need my permission, but sometimes it's good to have someone give you permission. Take a break. What we don't ever want to get to a point is where you drive yourself so hard that you actually kill off any opportunity for the reignition of your passion. We don't want your pilot flame to go out. That might mean you step away for a week. Could be just days. It could be months. But whatever it is, I think you'll know when it's time to step back in, when it's time to get back into it. I want you to know you can just take a break when it's necessary, because I want you to prevent that burnout. I don't want your pilot flame to go out. When you do take that time off, your battery can recharge. You know, if you think about that battery analogy, when you have been using your mobile phone all day, the battery is going to get pretty flat. It's got to come back home, sit on the recharge, not be used, and re-establish that charge so that it's good to go the next day. Finally, I want you to think, this is almost going to sound like contradictory to what we just talked about, but it's not, because we're talking about taking time off as a set time. But in general, look at ways that you can incorporate music into your daily life, not for the purpose of learning, you know, for your passion of singing, but just to have music around. When I wash my car, I've got a playlist, Spotify playlist that goes for hours, and it's just music in the background, but I'll often be singing, just singing along. I'm not thinking about my singing. I'm thinking about, detailing the car. But the music's there. It's joyous. It is just there, and I love it. It's stuff there's stuff I've been listening to since I was a teenager. And it's just wonderful. I'm sure there are aspects of your life where music can play a similar role, where you can build it into your everyday routine, whether it be doing the dishes, whether it be on your way to work and in the bus, even while you're just relaxing. Think of ways that you can just turn music on. Not for any purpose other than it's just there in the background. Then that pilot light that we've been talking about can reactivate, recharge, re-energize your singing. So there you go, folks, 10 ways that we can recharge your passion. I really wanted today's session, our mini topic, to be an encouragement to you, to be an inspiration. Look, it's not rocket science, is it? I haven't just shared with you, the most outstanding, wisdom that you've ever heard. Of course I haven't. But it's good to be reminded of these things. These things you already know. But for us to go through them and for us to have these there as a reminder for when we are not in our best place with our singing.